Coming up tonight, singing safely together. From next week, worshippers will be allowed to sing with their masks on.
Pfizer-BioNTech say their COVID-19 vaccine is 100% effective on children aged 12 to 15 and with no serious side effects.
And the man in this viral video has been arrested and charged over the brutal attack of an Asian American woman.
This is the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Dylan Ang.
Good evening, I'm Chow Suen. For the first time in almost a year, from April 5th, Monday, congregants will be allowed to sing during worship services, but only with their masks on and for up to a total of 30 minutes.
Places of worship reopened for private worship in June last year, but congregants were not permitted to sing. Here are the new guidelines. Masks must be worn at all times, including when singing. Mass singing is limited to a total of 30 minutes in a single worship service, and good ventilation must be maintained. There must also be a wipe down between worship services. And lastly, religious organizations are encouraged to implement a greater safe distance of 2 meters between the groups of up to 8 worshippers if they are singing.
Previously, up to 30 people were allowed to be involved in the conduct of worship service. Only 5 of them were allowed to sing and could do so unmasked. In an announcement today, the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth said that the cap of 30 people would remain. But in addition to the 5 who may sing unmasked, the others may choose to sing while wearing a mask.
The Muslim community in Singapore welcomes the likely change in stance on nurses wearing the Tudong or headscarf at work.
In a letter to Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, Singapore's Mufti, the highest Islamic authority, said that the Muslim community knows that this is a complex decision with difficult and competing considerations. He expressed his hope that Muslim nurses will find comfort in this news. In response, Mr. Lee thanked Mufti Naziruddin Muhammad Nasir and the Islamic Religious Council of Singapore for their support of the government's deliberations on allowing nurses here to wear the tudong.
Quick look at the COVID-19 situation. 34 new infections were confirmed today, with 1 in the community. The remaining 33 were imported and had been placed on stay-home notice upon arrival here.
And Pfizer-BioNTech said today that their vaccine showed 100% efficacy against the coronavirus in 12 to 15-year-olds. This comes as the company's eye approval for children to get the jabs before the next school year. The trials, which included 2,260 children in the United States, found that there were no infections among those who received the vaccine. They produced strong antibody responses and experienced no serious side effects.
Also in the news tonight, NUS says that its incoming Dean of the Law Faculty has relinquished his role for medical reasons. It comes just 2 weeks after his appointment was announced. Professor Hans Gio, who was supposed to take over in July, will continue as a senior faculty member. And staying on as Dean of Law, Professor Simon Chesterman will serve for a 4th term until June 30th, 2023.
130,000 locals were hired from last September to November with support from the Jobs Growth Incentive Scheme. Each of the 27,000 employers hired a median of 2 locals during the 3 months, up from a median of 1 local hire in the same period in 2019. 99% of the employers were SMEs.
New York City police have arrested and charged this 38-year-old man after he attacked an Asian woman on Monday.
The assault is the latest in a recent wave of hate crimes, mostly unprovoked, against Asian Americans. Surveillance footage showed the man approaching the 65-year-old Filipino woman, kicking her in the stomach and knocking her to the ground. He then stomped on her face several times while shouting anti-Asian insults at her, before casually walking away. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio called the video absolutely disgusting and outrageous and urged New Yorkers to intervene when they see assaults. Let's take a look at what's been making waves online today. And the world continues to lose valuable green spaces as fires, farming and climate change take their toll. In 2020, the world lost an area of tropical rainforest the size of the Netherlands, accelerating a trend of forest loss. A global analysis showed that a total of 4.2 million hectares of primary rainforests were destroyed last year, up 12% from 2019. According to the assessment by the University of Maryland, released on the Global Forest Watch online platform, the loss has led to a major spike in greenhouse gas emissions, loss of biodiversity, and loss to indigenous communities heavily reliant on forests for livelihoods.
Guess they weren't kidding when they sang that they will try to fix you. British band Coldplay has begun to sponsor an effort to remove plastic rubbish from Malaysian rivers. The band are sponsoring the Interceptor 005, aka Neon Moon 1, a watercraft designed by Dutch non-profit The Ocean Cleanup, which is expected to catch up to 100 tons of trash daily. To be ready mid-2021, it will be the second Interceptor to be deployed in the country after the first was placed in the Klang River. The Ocean Cleanup aims to tackle the world's 1,000 most polluted rivers, including those in Indonesia and the Dominican Republic.
And speaking of looking out for our environment, OCBC has launched home and renovation loans that incentivize residential property owners to make their homes more eco-friendly in exchange for lower interest rates, a first in Singapore. To qualify for preferential rates, borrowers have to pass the Building and Construction Authority's Tropical Home Energy Efficiency Assessment. OCBC will also reward those who undergo and pass another assessment by achieving an energy usage below the national average for their household size after they have moved in. Well, that's just one more reason to go green.
And before we go, here's the team who will be going to space on the world's first all-civilian mission to space. SpaceX has announced that 3 other crew members for Inspiration 4, a mission commanded by billionaire philanthropist Jared Isaacman. The 3 are Haley Arsenault, a physician assistant and bone cancer survivor, Chris Zambrowski, a Seattle area aerospace industry employee and US Air Force veteran, as well as Sean Proctor, a geoscience professor and entrepreneur. All 4, including Isaacman, will undergo extensive training modeled after the curriculum NASA astronauts use to prepare for SpaceX missions.
And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.